This Airsoft GI TV episode is brought to you in part by G&G Armament and TSD Airsoft. Welcome back to Airsoft GI TV. My name is Tim and I am here again with the new G4-18. This is the newest model to hit the G4 lineup. In a little bit I'll take you through the progression of the G4 series, our thought process, and how we've been improving the G4 with every new model that comes out. That'll be a later video though. The first video I did on this gun was kind of an overview just to show you what the new G4s are going to be like. This will be an actual review of this particular gun. For starters, and I think the best feature about this gun is the MK18 rail system. This is officially licensed MK18 rail system from SOCOM Gear. So it's the same rail system you'll find on the GMP Defender, except this is the legit version. This is the one Daniel Defense said, okay, you can put our name on this one. It's a two-piece rail system, two-piece free float rail system, so it's extremely solid and it's CNC machined, so it's not that pot metal you'll find on Chinese guns. The reason it's a two-piece rail system is so you can have the top rail on the gun fastened securely, but also have a barrel-mounted M203 launcher. As you can see, this is another version of the G4-18. This is the 418 Carbine. Okay, the one around on my sling is the 418 CQBR. Barrel-mounted M203 fits nicely, and it's actually a great addition to this gun. I think it looks fantastic. I'm usually not a big fan of M203 launchers because they add a ridiculous amount of weight to your gun. I prefer to stay mobile, but this is actually doable, and I think I could live with this, partially because the body of this gun is made of G&G's fantastic nylon fiber weave special kind of plastic. Okay, it's extremely strong, but it's also very, very lightweight. A very good combination for a gun, especially if you want to mount heavy accessories like an M203 on here. Kind of helps balance out the weight. A couple of other additional features that are on the 418 model that you'll find on other G4s are the functioning charging handle. Okay, the charging handle functions, and it does feature G&G's pneumatic blowback system. Later on in this video, we'll go inside the gearbox and we'll show you the different features on the gearbox. Like I mentioned before, the lower receiver is no longer one piece, so you can change this trigger guard out if you want to for a different one, for styling purposes mainly. Okay, the trigger guard doesn't really do much for the gun as far as function, as far as performance, but if you prefer to have a different trigger guard on here than the standard M4 trigger guard, that's why we made this available. Also, the forward assist releases the spring tension, same way the ICS does. So you push down on this, it pushes down on your anti-reverse latch, and you can release the spring tension. Great thing to do when you're done playing so you don't have your spring compressed, potentially losing FPS that way. Crane stock, you guys should pretty much know how this works. You pop the back plate off and you stick the battery in here. I've already mentioned in the previous video that the markings have changed. No longer do we have the USMC EGA on here. This is G&G's new symbol, their new crest. Oh shoot, one thing I forgot to mention also. The reason why the MK18's rail system is also great is because it's monolithic. Okay, the top rail is uninterrupted. Alright, that is fantastic for mounting optics like a red dot sight or like this hollow sight on the gun. Okay, because a lot of times this hollow sight, if you mount it too far back, or if you don't have the option to mount it on top of the rail system as well, it looks kind of funny if it's sitting right up against your rear sight, but it also looks really funny if you mount it too far forward. With the monolithic rail system, you're able to mount this thing anywhere on your gun. You know, that's comfortable for your eye relief and also to have the gun look as good as possible, look functional. Let's go outside. We'll test the MK18 Carbine and the MK18 CQBR on the Chrono, and we'll also test the rate of fire. Alright, here we are outside. I have the G4-18 Carbine. We're going to chrono this one first since it has a longer barrel. Good science says it should shoot a little harder, although I think the difference is going to be minimal. 450 round high cap loaded up. We're going to chrono the gun, test the rate of fire on a level 1 live poly, and we'll show you G&G's pneumatic blowback system. Alright, so the 418 Carbine is pretty stable, about around 350 to 360 FPS. Let's test the rate of fire on a level 1 live poly, and I'll show you guys the G&G pneumatic blowback system. Alrighty, now I have the CQBR version of the 418. We'll see how fast it shoots. Velocity-wise, it should have the same rate of fire. Alrighty, now even though the 418 CQBR has a little shorter barrel than the Carbine version, which is what I have in my hand, it still shoots about the same. And at 350 to 360 FPS, the new G4s shoot a little bit harder than its predecessors. Now, let's take a look at the gearbox. If this is your first time looking at G&G's pneumatic gearbox system, this is basically how it works. There was a hole in the top of the cylinder that pushes air through as the piston moves forward to power the BB. Some of the air is redirected to another cylinder unit which pushes another piston backward, and that piston is connected to the imitation bolt. That's how you get the blowback feature. Now, notice the bushings. The new G4s come with 8mm solid metal bushings. Just above that, you can see the forward assist function that releases the anti-reverse latch. This reduces the spring tension and resets your gears and piston back to zero. And one more thing I need to point out before I let you guys go is the front of the gearbox. You can see a little bit of reinforcement near the cylinder head. That's in case you guys want to upgrade your guns to shoot a little harder than 350, maybe closer to 400 for field use, for outdoor use. That pretty much wraps it up for the G4-18 Carbine and CQB version. The CQB version is for sale for $255. The Carbine is a little cheaper at $249. Check them both out at airsoftgi.com. I'll take you through our thought process, the progression. And the reason why it's two-piece is so that you can mount an M203 rail system. Because good science says it should blah, blah, blah. Alright, even though the 418 CQBR totally forgot that. We'll test the MK18 Carbine and the MK18 CQBR on the chrono, and we'll also test the rate of fire. Oh, John. Perfect timing with that phone call. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing my rig. And the answer is really that I knew I was going to be reviewing two guns, and both of them had rear sling adapters, so I went out to my car to get my MS2 sling, and right there was my vest, so I figured just put it on, whatever. Something weird just happened. Sitting in my computer, his black mouse runs right by my foot. Freaked me out a little bit, because the guys in the warehouse were like, dude, we have mice. I was like, man, those brave mice coming into a gun store, you know? And so I asked the guys to get me a pistol, and they pull out the freaking A&K SVD, like the longest damn gun we have. And then eventually, I don't know, I think there was another one around here by the photo booth. I saw him. Dead. I deaded him right there. We're going to hang him up as an example for all the other mice. Not to f*** with GI. I'm just kidding. We threw it away. There's no way we're going to hang a dead mouse around here. It's insane.